Let me know when you're ready and we'll crack
All
straight
right,
in.
we should be recording. Okay, go ahead.
Cool. Okay, Explorers. So, as always, your comments have been sent in. Thank you very much for that. We've got an absolute bunch of them to read out. I know Jimmy's chomping at the bit, so we'll start with you then, Jimmy. What comments have you got?
All right, so we reached out to a bunch of people. We put some stuff out on their socials, and we asked a few questions. And so first off, we got Kathleen, and our first question was: Were you excited to see The World Between Worlds in live action? Her response was, "This will sound weird, but I really want to see the owl." So she wants to see the Morai. I love the Rebels episode with The World Between Worlds, so I am excited to see what they do with it. And I think that's kind of how all of us are feeling. It's kind of hard to say, like yes or no until we see more. I mean, we've seen Anakin, we haven't seen anything else.
Yeah.
And the next question I asked Kathleen was, do you think that was really Anakin? And she says, I don't know. I wish they didn't always feel the need to de-age everyone, but that is just my production gripe. The last time we saw Ahsoka, he was more Vader than Anakin. So it will be interesting to see if he's force of good or still of evil. So that's cool. Yeah. I mean, some of this stuff is like everything we're thinking of. And I asked, what do you think Baylan is really up to? My man crush Baylan Skoll. I said, she said, I don't know why Baylan wants to find Thrawn. He doesn't strike me as someone who particularly likes to work for others. But Thrawn wasn't your average bad guy Imperial. He cared about culture and mythology. I think Baylan's story might be the most interesting. And I absolutely have to agree with her on that because he is, I don't know, there's something about that dude. And then what do you think will happen in the next episode? And she says, I don't have any predictions. I just hope we find Ezra or find out what happened to him soon, which, I think all of us are kind of in the same boat. And then the last question I asked were, any other thoughts or theories? And she goes, as you know, I wasn't keen on the first 2 episodes. It was really picked up steam, so that makes me happy. I try not to come up with too many theories or watch too many spoilers because I like to enjoy it for what it is. I will leave the theories up to the experts. I just know that I will enjoy, and quality storytelling is all I want. So, yeah, that's pretty good answers.
Yeah, a lot of really good points. And funny enough, I was thinking about it today and yesterday, the fact that the owl hasn't made an appearance yet as well. So yeah, really good points there, Kathleen. I really like that. I think they're doing a great job at the minute with Ahsoka, with building up a lot of suspense and what ifs, and then like Marok, not the letdowns, but the sort of after everything it was nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Because that like you said, man, that was a perfect thing that you said. With when the air went out of him, the air went out of all of us. So I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more with that. That's pretty funny. So I think you have some of the listeners.
Yeah, so I've got some more predictions from the Facebook group as well. Todd Tullock, World Between Worlds. I think it's going to be cool to see. I think it's really Anakin, so it ties into what Kathleen was saying. But the question is, he's wearing the dark outfit, so could he already be turned to the dark side? He thinks Baylan's conflicted. He thinks he's also quite a lot like Anakin, who wants to do things his way. He thinks he wants to bring back the dark side in a big way, but he needs Thrawn's help to do it. It's an interesting point, that. Next episode, he thinks it's going to be the pinnacle of the series, like I mentioned again. Even better than 4. I think we'll see Thrawn. What exactly happens, he doesn't know. But what he does know, it's going to be epic. And he also believes there's going to be a shock and maybe another character from the past. So a lot of points Todd said there is what I was mentioning the other day, is in terms of this is going to be Dave's time to shine, to show what he's coming up for his movie. I also think Kanan's going to make an appearance in this. Yeah, so really interesting points. What do you think, Jimmy?
Cool. Yeah, I think I really, really hope that it's not dark side with Baylan. I mean, if it is, it is. I'm not going to be one of those guys, like kind of like Kathleen said. I'm just going to take it for what it is. It's fun to speculate, but I'm not going to let it like, well, I wanted it to be this, so boo-hoo. Like, I'll just take it what it is, and as long as I get their explanation for it, and hey, I'm good to go with it. So yeah, that's exciting. It dawned on me tonight. Like, man, we have one day, and we're gonna get to see this 5th episode that we've all been like freaking out for. So
I'm
pretty
still trying to work
crazy.
out what time I'm watching it here in the Grand Canyon. Is
It'll be 6. It'll be 6 o'clock for you.
it 6? Nice. So I would definitely be watching
Yeah,
it. But
yeah, you'll be getting to
what
watch
other
it.
comments
So,
you got, Jimmy?
Joaquin said he's excited to see the World Between Worlds. He wants to see what kind of information, what they do with it, which I think all of us are kind of waiting for. So that was pretty cool. He does think that it could be him before he became a killer. So he thinks that Anakin may be like before he kind of goes to the dark side, which is an interesting thing. I never thought about it being like multiple Anakins, like, before his fall, after his fall kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. What do you think Balin's really up to? He goes, I think he has his own angle to what the future should look like. He is a hired lightsaber, not necessarily just a killer. So, kind of, sitting there and trying to feel out what Balin's doing. I really hope we get like a backstory, or like
Oh, yeah.
like he was like if he was like Plo Koon's Padawan or some craziness. Anakin shows us the way to Ezra. So what he thinks is going to happen, he thinks that Anakin's going to give Ahsoka her way to get to Ezra.
Yeah.
And any other thoughts? He goes, I feel Rebels will go save Sabine and find Ezra and find who he has become. So yeah, so he's kind of just following the course with like
Yeah.
the Rebel stuff, and everyone's going to find their own way to Ezra, and then it'll kind of, we'll have 3 episodes left for all heck to break loose. And
Yeah.
I know that I don't know if they've said it's a standalone series, but I have a hard time believing they're going to wrap things up after this episode, only having 3 more to go. So we'll see. But yeah,
Fine.
Joaquin has a lot of good points there too.
Yeah. Yeah. Really good points. A friend, Conrad Prince, recently just joined. He's mentioned, says, Thrawn actually making a bloody appearance. They paid way too much of the telling. Lots of standing about chatting. Too much time spent inside the ship, doing very little. He thinks as well it might not be compelling to watch, but it will be quite important to the story. He needs to pay more attention to the editing of A New Hope for content and pace. However, he thinks they can write whatever they want to. So yeah, obviously they can write whatever they want to. Interesting point, and
Yeah.
he's probably right. Like I mentioned again, it is going to be a lot of talking. I think this next episode is going to be a lot of important stuff. So to be fair to Conrad, actually quite a fair point. We keep getting all the action scenes. At some point, we do need, like you say, that episode for the backstory to put a bit more meat on the bones, explain what's going on. And again, I completely agree with Conrad. Let's have the appearance of Thrawn now.
Yes. Yes, please. Yeah, that's a good point too. Like he said, and like we kind of talked about this, where we think it's going to be a lot of information, but you could see it. Like she's in the world between worlds. Hera and Jason are kind of floating around in the wake of the Eye of Sion, and then the Eye of
Yeah.
Sion is going to make this massive jump to this new galaxy. So what's going to happen to them? They are going to get like knocked out and be reliving stuff. So we're going to see it from everyone's points of view. Kind
Could
of a mishmash of
could you imagine?
backstories.
Like Mary Poppins back in the day, where it started off black and white, went to color. Imagine if they went through to this next universe and it all went back to animated, and the last 3 episodes are animated, like Clone Wars. The outcry,
Oh my gosh! Oh my
the
goodness! I mean, it
outcry.
was funny. It was funny in Spider-Man Across the Universe or whatever, Across the
Yeah.
Spider-Verse, but I think people would be irate.
Well, mate.
So,
Any more
um,
comments for us, Jimmy?
oh my goodness, yeah, we got. I've got 3 more people to talk through, so we'll get through these. And um, Mitchell says, "Are you?" And I, again, are you excited to see World Between Worlds? He goes, "It looks better in live action." So he definitely liked the way it looked, which is cool.
Yep.
Do you really think that's Anakin? I thought originally it was, but now I've heard theory that it's the brother, which has been a popular theory that it's the brother. I don't know if they're going to go that deep into the lore, but I've heard the same rumblings. Obviously
Yeah.
people start throwing out ideas, which is fun to speculate.
I
Just
love it. I
got to
absolutely love
do
the
it.
speculation and theories.
Yeah, you just got to do it to a point where it's not like you're not obsessed with it.
Yeah.
What do you think Balin is really up to? And he says, no clue, which,
Literally.
so, yeah, I mean, I am like racking my brain to figure out what this dude is up to.
Yeah.
What do you think will happen in the next episode? All between world stuff. So he thinks it's going to be like a big I think he thinks the same thing we do. It's going to be a lot of backstory and talking and kind of setting things up.
Yeah,
And any thoughts or theories? A lot of dark side energy. I'm hoping they void out the sequels. Oh no! So Mitch doesn't like the sequels and he wants them to erase them. So that's fair, though. I mean, a lot of people
yeah.
didn't like those. So I don't know if that'll happen, but it might. Who knows? Maybe they've given Dave, like, all right, reset everything, Dave.
Do you
He'd be the
imagine
guy
that
to
as
do it.
well?
I would, oh my gosh, the internet would break down tomorrow if he
Oh
does
yeah.
something to reset the sequels. So Mitch is looking for some saucy excitement.
Oh god. Yeah, it'd be funny if they did that as well. Um, Another one we've got Rob McCauley, a really great friend of mine. He's from Canada. Met him at Celebration for the first time in a few years. He's all in the 501st with me, so big shout out to Rob. Quite short this intro, recap, story, end credits. See you next week. So he's not wrong. He's definitely not wrong. He's known for his witty comments. But again, it
I
sort of ties
say, man,
into man a few words. Yeah,
yeah.
it does tie in with what Conrad's saying, and I think it's getting to the point now. We've seen all the action stuff. We've sort of had our fill of the action stuff, and I feel that people want now that episode of backstory, and
Yeah, we
it
need
will
something
just
explained.
people just feel a lot more. How can I put this? I want to say complete or up to date.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, we only got to wait a few more hours, it seems like. So,
Yeah,
all right, got two more. So here's Lacey's. Um, she goes, World Between Worlds was amazing. It looks just like it did in Rebels, which was cool. And I know that was kind of an unfair question. People were excited to see it there. Obviously, people
yeah,
got real wound up, and as people were talking about it. Do you think that was really Anakin? No, it is either Vader or the son of Mortis. Oh, why would Anakin have his robot hand if he was dead? In Return of the Jedi, he was wearing white and had both his hands when he was a Force ghost. So, okay.
interesting.
Yeah. What do you think Balin is really up to? I think Balin is either trying to create a community of dark Jedi or he's trying to get Thrawn first to kill him to stop him from doing whatever it is he is going to do. So he wants them to bring him back and he's going to take him out himself, which would be intense.
Which would also
What do you
make
think will
sense
happen?
if it's trying to balance the force out.
Yeah. What do you think will happen in the next episode? I think it will be a lot. It will be about Anakin and Ahsoka. I think they will relive some of their times together. If it's Vader, he might push her into one of the worlds, maybe the one where he almost killed her and tried to finish the job. And I said, any other thoughts or theories? And she goes, too many, LOL. I sat down with Lacey last week and we had an awesome talk during our planning periods all about Star Wars. This lady loves it. She's new to our school, and I saw this
Awesome.
Jeep that had an Ahsoka sticker, and then I walked by her and I saw her Ahsoka tattoo, and I'm like, we need to be friends.
I
So
remember you telling me this.
she
Yeah,
has she has lots of good theories, and I mean, I'm sure we'll be hearing from her again after that. So,
awesome.
do you have any more? I've got one more.
Yeah, I've got one more myself. It's from the
All
main
right,
man
go ahead.
himself, Jake Crafton.
Oh, oh
Anakin and
boy.
Ahsoka view some moments from the past, and she learns some sort of important Jedi-ish lesson from it all. He reckons then we will see Thrawn and Ezra. I'm sort of on the same wavelength as Jake in the sense that I think this point now, like I said, I don't think it's Anakin because it's not a Force ghost for one. I think we're going to get some form of Anakin turning around and completing her training.
Mm.
And
I
it brings
think
me into my
that's a
theory. Sorry, go on, Jimmy. Sorry.
no. I think we haven't really seen a big moment in Star Wars, like Jedi, like epiphanies and things like that. So this would be really cool if they do something like that live
Oh
action.
man,
We've seen it in Clone Wars, and in Rebels, and it's been
yeah.
really cool and impactful. But to see it live action
I'm so glad
will
you
be
said
next
that.
level.
We just, honestly we just bounce off each other so well because what I'm about to say now you'll understand. I think Ahsoka's colour of her lightsabers are going to change to blue and green, or green and green, or blue and blue when she comes back from that War from
Oh,
Worlds
so
because she'll
she'll
then
be she.
yeah, and that'll be the big moment. And I think we won't know that though until she goes up against Balin for the last time because he'll say, "Oh, you were too weak" or something. Cue the music. She'll get the stance, and it will come out slow because she's completed her training. She's become a Jedi.
Oh my! She'll be a master.
And I think that's what's going to happen. But yeah,
Dude,
that's
you just
all.
gave me goosebumps,
I had
man.
the goosebumps as well. But yeah,
Woo!
that was the last
Woo!
comment I've got. What's the last one you've got, Jimmy?
Wow, we should have finished on that one. All right, let's see what Eric has to say. So Eric, he's my next door neighbor, and he has a bunch of good stuff here. So I'm hoping Filoni and crew will give us a little more about how the world between world interacts with the Force in its origins, which would be very cool to get to know some more. Set some ground rules maybe for us, so we can't be using it to bring people back from the dead and time traveling.
Yeah.
He says, I'm not convinced it's actually Anakin because he would be a Force ghost at this point in the timeline, and we have
With you,
no
Eric.
indication that Anakin knew about the world between worlds or how to get there. So that's super valid. I believe Balin is trying to start a new war that will create power void in the galaxy, and he can establish a new Jedi Order or a new galactic government controlled by Force users. That'd be interesting. I think he
Yeah,
believes
I
that
like that.
the slate needs to be wiped clean for the galaxy, and a fresh start will bring the galaxy peace. So, like a less intense Thanos, which yeah, absolutely. You know, got a little snap and reset
No,
everything.
yeah, and
Um,
that time with Kylo Ren is in let the past burn and all that. Forget the past.
yeah, yeah, it would. He says, I think episode 5 will take us to Thrawn and Ezra in the neighboring galaxy, where Thrawn will reveal to us how and why he was able to recruit people who so desperately wanted to bring him back, Balin and Morgan Elsbeth. I think the episode will end on a cliffhanger when Thrawn returns to the galaxy and is preparing for
Yeah.
war, and we will get more Ahsoka in episode 6. So Eric thinks that we're going to freeze there, and it's going to be all about Thrawn, which, man, that would be fine, but people will lose their minds
Oh yeah.
if we.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, they'll also be excited to see Thrawn, but having to wait another week. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if Dave's going to direct an episode without Ahsoka, but we'll see. I didn't even think of that before, so that's pretty good, Eric. And then last, he goes, "I'm curious how Thrawn and Ezra's relationship has changed since they've been in another galaxy together. I think they might have grown to be allies, or at least not be enemies like they were when they left, which I think is pretty valid. If they're stranded together, Thrawn's a smart enough man to know he needs a Jedi. He worked with Anakin whenever Anakin was a Jedi. Um, yeah, so those are all really great points from everybody. So, wow. Yeah. Got some X threads. Yes, thanks, guys. That was awesome. That was a fun session to read all that stuff out. So hopefully we'll have a few more of those. Maybe we can get a few more after these episodes. We can post some questions and continue to do this little predictions the night before kind of thing. So very cool. All right.